Apparently it's easier to build certain things, specifically semiconductors, the silicon building blocks that are really essential to most of our electronics. A British company has now successfully tested a factory in space that can build the material. Astrophysicist Brad Tucker is here to tell us why it's such a big deal. Brad, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Give us a sense of what this factory actually looks like. It's not a Dickens-esque, Industrial Revolution factory, is it?
No, you're right. You're not talking about billowing smokestacks and those sorts of things. There's no chimney boys cleaning the pipes. You're really talking about like a microwave scale object that is really insulated where you're turning out this furnace. And this is one of the keys of space is the thermal properties, as we say. I think sometimes we think space is cold. It can also get really hot, depending on where in the orbit you are. Are you in the shadow or are you in front of the sun? And so that's one of the key aspects of trying to get anything to work is to keep the temperature regulated on the outside so that the inside can generate the energy. But also once you generate the energy, you can easily put and radiate that heat out, and you have kind of a natural cooling system around it. So there ends up being some interesting advantages to these sorts of things when you're up there.
Brad, you said furnace there, so it's not just microwave size, it's also got a heating element in it too. What is that for?
Yeah, so the heating element is to generate essentially the temperatures needed. They're talking about they've just reached 1,000 degrees Celsius. Wow. So 1,000 degrees Celsius in this insulated box, essentially to create the plasma or the energy and heat needed to create things, right? To create a furnace-like conditions. So in order to generate that energy, obviously you have to get power to it. Benefit of space also is that solar power aspect, but you then still need to turn that into heat and then generate that into the plasma inside the furnace, the kind of glowing red aspect that you can picture in order to create things.
And that is what we just saw on our screens there, that glowing red plasma that is being worked on. When I think of space, though, I think of something really expensive. Dollars are the first thing that comes to mind. Isn't this a really expensive place to do business, to go up there and do science in space?
Yeah, so this is the interesting aspect. It has become massively cheaper to put things into orbit. 10, 20 years ago, it cost about $50,000 for every kilogram you had to put up. Now it's only $1,000 to $2,000, and that price may plummet to probably $300 in the coming year or two. So it's getting cheaper to put it up there. And in some of these things, and you're talking about semiconductors with this, you have to create so much special equipment because you want it to be flat. So, we were just hearing that maybe space is very good for floating. That's actually one of the benefits for semiconductors is there's no gravity there, so they line up naturally perfect as opposed to having to counteract gravity on Earth. It's also very clean, so you have to create usually gigantic clean rooms on Earth in order to make sure there's no dust and dirt that accumulates. Space has that advantage as well. So in some of this precision aspects, it's already cheaper to put it up there, and some of the natural technical challenges are already solved because you're up in space.
So semiconductors, spacewalks, floating. What else is space good for, Brad?
There's already a huge effort into pharmaceuticals and biomedical technology. So there's a group called Space that's been doing this for now a couple of years. In fact, when they test something and manufacture something in orbit, they land in South Australia. So this lands at the Conducive test range as part of Southern Launch Australia, or Southern Launch. And so there's already a lot of this activity happening. We're going to see a huge increase in medicine. There's groups like Amazon that want to do data storage. We talk about the cloud, they're going next level, above the cloud, because in fact, if you can manufacture and store essentially data in space, again, you have the aspects of all the energy from the sun. You don't need the cooling from water, which is a huge energy consumption on Earth because space can naturally cool it. So we're going to start seeing more and more of this. It sounds very Jetsons, futuresque, Futurama style. This is where the world and earthly world nearby is headed.